My sister threw a surprise party in my apartment. They locked me out of my own home last minute. I didn't make a scene. I called the police instead. The next day, she was arrested at school. I should have known better than to trust my family with anything that mattered to me. But hope makes you stupid, and I was the queen of stupid hope. My name's Casey, and this is the story of how I finally grew a backbone at 25. It only took getting locked out of my own apartment on my birthday by people who couldn't even remember my middle name. But I am getting ahead of myself. I would just moved into this killer downtown loft. Industrial windows, exposed brick. The kind of place that screamed I have got my shit together, even when I definitely didn't. After years of living in a shoebox apartment where the neighbors treated domestic violence like a Netflix series, this felt like winning the lottery. I scrubbed that place for 3 days straight, not because it was dirty, but because I needed it to be perfect Pinterest. Level perfect, the kind of perfect that might finally make my family see me as something other than their personal ATM. My 25th birthday was coming up, and I had this brilliant idea, a dinner party. Nothing crazy, just family, home, cooked meal, real plates, actual conversation. Maybe we could pretend to be the family I would always wanted us to be. Let me paint you a picture of my loving family. There is Mom Linda. She perfected the art of emotional manipulation before I could walk. She is the type who says bless your heart and means you are an idiot, always has an excuse, ready for why she cannot show up. But somehow, never misses my sister's anything. Dad goes by Mike. He is basically a human ghost. He communicates through grunts and channel surfing. When he does speak, it is usually to tell me what I am doing wrong, or ask when I am transferring money. Then, there is my grandmother, Nana Ruth. She raised passive aggression to an art form. She is 83, and acts like she is running for mayor of Guilt Trip City. And finally, the golden child herself, my sister Taylor, 22 years old, double majoring in social media and disappointment. She has got this talent for making every conversation about her while somehow being the victim in every story. I have been bankrolling this circus for 3 years, $600 a month to help with Mom and Dad's mortgage after Dad's temporary hour reduction at the plant. Another $400 toward Taylor's grad school, because apparently studying communications requires a lot of expensive coffee and spring break trips. The 15th of October, my birthday. Dinner set for 6 p.m. sharp. I had everything ready by 5:30. The table looked like something out of Southern Living magazine. Candles flickering, wine breathing, short ribs falling off the bone. I even put on a dress. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to feel special. 6 of the clock came and went. So did 6:15. At 6:20, my phone rang. Mom's contact photo lit up my screen. A selfie she took at some wine tasting where she looked like she would already had plenty. "Casey, honey," her voice had that saccharine quality that meant bad news was coming. "I am so sorry, but your father and I completely spaced. We have symphony tickets tonight. Season passes, you know? Non-refundable." I stood there holding the phone, watching the candles drip wax onto my grandmother's antique table runner. "You forgot my birthday dinner." "We didn't forget. We just double-booked." Rain check. Rain check. "Love you, sweetheart." The line went dead before I could respond, which was probably for the best because what I wanted to say wasn't fit for polite company. I called Dad next, straight to voicemail. Of course. Nana Ruth picked up on the first ring, which gave me hope for about 2 seconds. "Oh, Casey, I am at the casino with the girls. Slot tournament night. Didn't I tell you?" No, she had not told me. "I thought you knew I had plans." "Sweetie, these things are scheduled months in advance, right? The sacred slot tournament, how could I compete with that?" By 6:45, I was sitting alone at a table set for 5, surrounded by enough food to feed a small army. The irony wasn't lost on me. I would finally created the perfect family dinner, and my family had chosen literally anything else. That is when Taylor texted, "Hey BTW bringing some PPL over for Uday. See you soon Zoxofe," not asking, telling because in Taylor's world, my apartment was just another venue for her entertainment. They showed up at 8:30, 6 people I would never seen before, plus Taylor, who waltzed in like she owned the place. "Surprise," she announced, as if this was some thoughtful gesture instead of a hostile takeover. Her crew looked like they would been pre-gaming since noon. There was a guy in a backwards baseball cap who immediately started rifling through my liquor cabinet, a girl with purple hair who asked if I had any party favors, another guy who picked up my expensive wine opener and tried to use it as a bottle opener for his beer. "I figured you were probably super lonely, so I brought the party to you." Taylor beamed like she would just solved world hunger. I watched them spread through my apartment like locusts. Purple hair girl was already connecting her phone to my Bluetooth speaker, replacing my carefully curated jazz playlist with something that sounded like robots having an argument. Baseball cap guy poured vodka into my wine glasses, the good ones I would inherited from my great-grandmother. "Taylor," I said, pulling her aside, "I didn't plan for this. I have work tomorrow, early meeting." She blinked at me like I would just spoke in ancient Greek. "God, Casey, it is your birthday. Live a little, live a little." The family motto for whenever they wanted me to shut up and deal with their chaos. The breaking point came around 10 p.m. I was in the kitchen, trying to salvage what was left of my dinner, when someone hollered from the living room. "Hey, Casey, I think your food delivery's here." I looked around, confused. I hadn't ordered anything, but the pounding on the door was insistent. "Can you get that?" Taylor called out. "We are in the middle of a game." I walked to the door, still holding a dish towel. The hallway was empty. No delivery driver, no food. I turned back toward my apartment and grabbed the handle. Locked. I knocked politely at first. "Hey guys, the door's locked." The music was so loud I could feel it in my chest. I knocked harder. "Taylor, the door's locked." Nothing, just bass thumping and muffled laughter. I stood there for 10 minutes, knocking and calling out like some pathetic extra in a sitcom. Finally, I walked down to my car and sat in the driver's seat, engine off, staring at my own apartment building. I could see them through my windows, dancing, drinking, making themselves at home in my space. Taylor was laughing at something, probably how clever she was for planning this surprise. That is when it hit me. They hadn't forgotten I existed. They just didn't care. My chest felt like someone had reached in and squeezed all the air out of my lungs. My hands were shaking, not from cold, but from something deeper. Something that had been building for years and finally cracked wide open. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. First thing I did was cancel the automatic transfer to my parents' mortgage. $600 a month. Gone. 2.5 years of payments. Over $18,000 I would hand it over while they treated me like a walking wallet. Next, I logged into the tuition portal and suspended Taylor's payment plan. Another $400 a month I would been covering while she played sorority girl with my money. Then I opened my notes app and started typing. Faithfully meeting requirements. ***1. Formal apology from each party Faye **2. Detailed plan for respect moving forward Faye *3. Full financial independence within 30 days Faye *4. No contact until conditions are met Faye. I wasn't emotional anymore. I was surgical, cold, precise. The party finally wound down around midnight. I watched from my car as Taylor's friends stumbled out, leaving trash and chaos in their wake. Taylor herself left without even checking if I was okay. I waited another hour, then went back upstairs. The door was unlocked now. Probably had been the whole time. They would just ignored me. My apartment looked like a fraternity house after homecoming. Wine stains on my white rug cigarette, ash on my coffee table. Someone had used my bedroom. My bed was a disaster, and there was makeup on my pillowcase. The smell hit me first. Alcohol, stale smoke, and something else I couldn't identify. My stomach turned. This was my space. My sanctuary, and they would treated it like a public bathroom. I didn't clean it up. Instead, I took pictures. Lots of pictures. Then I started making lists. By sunrise, I had it all documented. Every stain, every broken item, every violation of basic human decency. I added up the damages. $750 for professional cleaning, $200 for new bedding, $300 for carpet repair, and $150 for miscellaneous replacements. I sent Taylor an itemized invoice. No cute message, no angry rant, just the facts and a payment deadline. She responded by posting it on Instagram with the caption, "When your sister literally charges you for existing number toxic family." Number money obsessed. The comments were predictably brutal, half her followers calling me psychotic, the other half sharing their own horror stories about greedy siblings. She was painting herself as the victim, and her echo chamber was eating it up. I screenshot every comment. Evidence for later. Mom called first. Of course. She always did when Taylor cried loud enough. Casey Marie, what in God's name has gotten into you? Sending your sister a bill? Are you out of your mind? She destroyed my apartment. It was an accident. She was trying to do something nice for your birthday. Nice would have been showing up to dinner. This was vandalism with alcohol. She is your sister, and I am her bank account, apparently. Mom went quiet. Then we heard you stopped the mortgage payments. There it was. The real reason for the call. I did. Casey, we depend on that money. You cannot just, I can. I did. Find another way. This is cruel. No, Mom. Cruel is forgetting your daughter's birthday for symphony tickets. Cruel is letting strangers sleep in her bed while she sits in her car. This is just business. She hung up on me. Dad tried next, which was shocking. He usually avoided conflict like it was contagious. Casey, your mother's upset, she usually is. You are making this about money. You made it about money when you took mine for 3 years without saying thank you. We are family. Family shows up. Family respects boundaries. Family doesn't lock each other out of their own homes. It was just one night. It was the last night. He didn't argue after that. 3 days after the invoice, Taylor showed up at my door. No makeup, messy hair, looking like she had been crying for hours. I cannot pay this, she said without preamble. Then you shouldn't have broken it. I don't have $700. Casey, I am a student. You are 22. Get a job. I have classes. Welcome to adulthood. It sucks, but you get used to it. She started crying then. Real tears, not the crocodile ones she used on our parents. I am sorry. Okay, I am sorry about the party. I thought you would have fun. Fun. Right. Getting locked out of my own apartment was a blast. That was an accident. An accident is spilling wine. This was deliberate disrespect. What do you want from me? I want you to grow up. I want you to stop treating me like your personal ATM. I want you to take responsibility for once in your entitled life. She stood there, probably waiting for me to fold, to say forget about it, and go back to being her safety net. Instead, I handed her a job application I would printed from Starbucks. They are hiring. Benefits include learning what money actually costs. I thought that was it. I thought she would learn her lesson. Get a job. Maybe even grow as a person. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed at 3 a.m. Bank notification. Fayer card ending in 4,572 was charged $1,847 at Madison College Bursar's office. Asterisk. I sat up in bed, fully awake. My heart was pounding. I hadn't made that payment. I definitely hadn't authorized it. Taylor still had access to my student portal from when I would helped her set up payment plans. The little snake had logged in and used my saved card information to pay her overdue tuition. Not only had she stolen from me, she would done it while I was sleeping, like a financial vampire. My blood was boiling. My jaw clenched so tight, I thought my teeth might crack. This wasn't just crossing a line. This was obliterating it with dynamite. I was dressed and at the police station by 8 a.m. I want to report credit card fraud, I told the officer at the desk. Officer Martinez was a young guy, probably dealt with family drama daily. He listened to my story without judgment. I showed him the bank notification, the screenshots of Taylor's Instagram rant, the photos from my destroyed apartment. This is your sister, he asked. Biologically, yes. Functionally, she is a stranger who happens to share my DNA. He walked me through the paperwork, credit card fraud, property damage, theft of services, the whole 9 yards. You understand this could result in criminal charges? I understand that actions have consequences. Something my family never taught her. I signed everything. My hand was steady. My mind was clear. Taylor called from the police station the next day. Unknown number. But I knew her voice immediately. Casey. She was crying again. They arrested me. I didn't say anything at school. In front of everyone, campus security walked me out in handcuffs. Good, maybe public humiliation would finally get through to her. They said, "You press charges for the credit card thing." Theft? It is called theft. I was going to pay you back. With what money? The job you don't have, please. Please don't do this to me. I will lose my spot in the program. I will have a record. You should have thought about that before you stole from me. I am your sister. My sister would have asked for help, not taken it. I hung up and blocked her number. They all showed up together this time. A united front of manipulation and guilt. Mom, Dad, and Nana Ruth stood on my doorstep like the world's least effective intervention team. "We need to talk," Mom announced, pushing past me into my apartment. "No, we don't. You are destroying this family," Dad said. He looked older, more tired. "Good. I am not destroying anything. I am just stopping the construction. Taylor is facing serious charges because of you," Mom continued. "She could go to jail. She could go to jail because she committed a crime. I am not the district attorney. Drop the charges." Nana Ruth finally spoke up. "Family forgives family." I laughed. Actually laughed. The sound came out harsh and bitter. Family forgives family. Where was that energy when you all skipped my birthday? When Taylor posted my invoice online? When you spent 3 years taking my money and treating me like garbage? "We never treated you like garbage?" Mom protested. "No, you treated me worse. You treated me like I didn't exist." "That is not true." "Really? When is my birthday, Mom?" Silence. "What is my middle name, Dad?" More silence. "What do I do for work, Nana?" They stood there, 3 people who had known me my entire life, unable to answer basic questions about my existence. The room felt too small suddenly, like the walls were closing in. My chest was tight. My hands were clammy. "Get out," I said quietly. "Casey, get out." I was done being polite, done being understanding, done making excuses for their behavior. You want Taylor out of trouble? Figure it out yourselves? You want money? Get jobs? You want a relationship with me? Start by learning my middle name. I opened the door and waited. They left, but not before Mom delivered her parting shot. "When you come crawling back, don't expect us to answer." "Don't worry," I called after her. "I deleted your numbers." The court case was straightforward. Taylor pled guilty to credit card fraud and property damage. She got 18 months probation, community service, and was ordered to pay full restitution. The local news picked up the story. Sister presses charges after birthday party gone wrong. I became a minor celebrity in online forums dedicated to family drama. Half the people called me a hero, half called me heartless. I didn't care what they called me. I cared that I could sleep at night. My family tried the silent treatment, thinking I would come crawling back. When that didn't work, they sent flying monkeys, distant relatives and family friends who called to tell me how disappointed they were in my behavior. I told them they were welcome to adopt my family if they thought they were so wonderful. Taylor got a job at Target. Mom and Dad downsized to a smaller house. Nana Ruth moved in with my cousin because she couldn't afford her apartment. They tried to blame me for all of it, but the math was simple. If my support was the only thing standing between them and financial ruin, maybe they should have treated me better. I started therapy, real therapy. Not the kind where you complain about your family while continuing to enable them. Dr. Sarah helped me understand that setting boundaries wasn't cruel. It was necessary. I also started dating. Turns out, when you are not constantly stressed about family drama and broke from supporting adults who refuse to support themselves, you are actually pretty good company. His name is Marcus. And when I told him the whole story, his response was, "Good for you. Want to get pizza? No drama. No lecture about forgiveness. No insistence that family comes first. Just acceptance and pizza." My 26th birthday was perfect. Small dinner with friends who actually showed up. People who knew my middle name, Elizabeth, by the way, and my favorite wine and my job. Marcus brought flowers. My friend Jess brought homemade cookies. My coworker Mike brought terrible jokes and excellent whiskey. Nobody locked me out. Nobody posted about me online. Nobody asked for money. It was exactly what I would wanted all along. People who cared enough to show up. I know some people think I went too far. That family should forgive anything, support anyone, enable everything. Those people have never been invisible in their own family. They have never been reduced to a dollar sign in someone else's story. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss the guilt trips. I don't miss walking on eggshells around people who were supposed to love me unconditionally but couldn't even manage basic respect. What I found instead was something better: peace, self-respect, the knowledge that I am worth more than emergency loans and birthday leftovers. My family taught me a valuable lesson, just not the one they intended. They taught me that blood doesn't guarantee loyalty, support doesn't require sacrifice, and sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. I am not their daughter anymore. I am not their sister. I am not their safety net. I am just Casey Elizabeth Thompson, and for the first time in my life, that is enough. Did I do the right thing? I sleep 8 hours a night now, so I am pretty sure I did. My chest doesn't feel hollow anymore. My hands don't shake when my phone rings, and when someone asks about my family, I just smile and say, I am working on building a better one.